Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Rawlins. Check it out now. I got a SpongeBob review for you guys, and today we are reviewing season 12, episode 34, I believe, and that is the Krusty Slammer, man. Listen, it's been a minute since I watched some SpongeBob. I'm not even gonna lie, man. SpongeBob as a child, and I did numerous other SpongeBob videos on this channel, maybe like 3 or 4. Can't say numerous, but I did a couple other SpongeBob videos on this channel, and this honestly, I don't know. I want to say this is kind of like a little callback to how it was when I was a child watching this stuff, man. And it definitely feels a little bit different than some of the newer episodes they've been putting out now. So I guess we should start off right at the beginning. So Plankton is in the process of trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula again at the Krusty Krab, right? Obviously, what else is Plankton doing? So he starts vandalizing the restaurant, like pouring little red paint down and whatnot. And basically, there's this police officer lady eating there. So she's like, you know what? No, you're under arrest. You can't. You're under arrest for vandalism. And Plankton's like, what? I haven't stole anything yet. You know, she tells him like, yeah, you're under arrest for vandalism, whatnot. And Mr. Krabs, of course, comes out. He starts laughing in Plankton's face. They're walking to the prison, right? And she stops. She's like, oh, wait a minute. This prison's full. So, I'm gonna have to set Plankton free. We have no room in this prison for Plankton. Mr. Krabs like, what? No, we can't have this. We can't have this. And basically, she gives him an ultimatum. She's like, listen, we gotta set him free, man. There's no space. Um, she says something along the lines of, yeah, whoever, there's not enough room for prisoners in Bikini Bottom in this prison. If anyone open up another prison, we'll give them a lot of money for it. And she pulls out this, of course, it's animated. They gotta exaggerate everything. There's big old pile of cash. And Mr. Krabs, of course, being the greedy, money-loving SOB that he is, he's like, oh, what? I got an idea. I'm gonna turn the Krusty Krab into prison. So, of course, he does that. He has Plankton as his only prisoner because his main goal is like, yo, I want Plankton to suffer, right? That's Mr. Krabs' goal. And he's gonna have Plankton there, basically torture him because that's his ultimate rival. So SpongeBob and Squidward, of course, they're fixing up the whole Krusty Krab, and SpongeBob being Mr. Krabs' right hand man, that's his job to fix that place up for him, to be a prison. And of course, he's trying to keep his regular fry cook duties too. So Mr. Krabs basically main goal is torturing Plankton, collecting the money. That's what he thinks his prison's gonna be about. Now, police officer lady comes back to the Krusty Krab. She's like, yo, Krabs, man, I got some more prisoners for you. And of course, I got some more money. Mr. Krabs not going to turn down no money. So, of course, he's going to take it from the police officer lady. And a bunch of prisoners came out of this bus. A couple big prisoners, a couple, normal looking prisoners. But I remember I saw this one huge prison. I'm like, oh, man, this ain't going to be good for Mr. Krabs and the Krusty Krab, yo. This is going to be bad. I thought some serious stuff was going to go down. But basically, I forgot to mention too. Plankton was in Mr. Krabs' office, and he tried to escape the little cage that Krabs put him in. So he had decided to put him in SpongeBob's head, or put him in one of his little holes. You're going in the hole, as a normal prison term is. So he plops Plankton into one of those holes, and SpongeBob's head is bloop right in his right in SpongeBob's noggin. I think one of my most favorite lines in this episode, SpongeBob's like, "Ooh, Plankton tickles inside me." I'm like, oh Lord, Nickelodeon, y'all back at this again, bro, with the innuendos and whatnot. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I shouldn't be thinking like that. Come on, it's a kids show. But anyway, that's when the police officer lady comes, offers Krabs more prisoners. Of course, Krabs gonna take them, and long story short, he continues to torture Plankton, gets him out of SpongeBob's head and whatnot, and Plankton's in a sense going crazy. Krabs tortures him some more. The prison lady comes back. She's like, okay, it's time for Plankton's release. So basically, Mr. Krabs like, oh man, already? He served his sentence, and, she has to release him. Now Mr. Krabs' fun of having a prison is all over. And then, long story short, Plankton says something like, yo, I hope you're motherfucking enjoying paying for this prison, da da da. And Mr. Krabs is over here realizing that SpongeBob, of course, being the nice, genuine guy, genuine guy that he is, he's fixing these prisoners up to have a nice, comfortable stay, giving them massaging chairs, TVs, hot cocoa with a bunch of marshmallows in it. Mr. Krabs starts snapping. He's like, "Yo, man, we can't have this. This is too expensive. Prisons are supposed to barely meet humane regulations or whatever the heck. I'm no goddamn politician. I don't know these damn terms. I suppose you wouldn't even need to be a politician, but you know what? Ray Rawlins ain't that much of a smart guy. I ain't using big terms like that. But basically, Mr. Krabs like, yo, forget it. I'm setting these guys free. We need to turn the Krusty Krab back to what it normally is, because in the process of doing this, the prisoners got so upset when Mr. Krabs took away their luxury belongings, I suppose you could say. They started throwing tomatoes, scaring off all his regular customers. So Mr. Krabs ends up losing his customers, sets the prisoners free to make this, try to reverse and solve the problem. But long story short, prisoners come to SpongeBob's house, right? SpongeBob laying in bed. You see this big old shadow walking over him, like, oh snap, what's gonna happen, man? What are they finna do, SpongeBob bogus? So SpongeBob turns on the lights. He's like, yo, it's my prison pals. Like, man, we miss having fun at the Krusty Krab with you. And then SpongeBob says, okay, well, you know what? I guess we're going to have to stage a jail break-in. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Interesting choice of words there from SpongeBob. But, SpongeBob's always got to be a little punny, bro. So, long story short, SpongeBob gets them back into the Krusty Krab, turns it back into a prison. And Mr. Krabs like, yo, what's going on, man? I set all these criminals free. What are they doing back here? And the police officer ends up hearing Krabs. He's like, yo, don't you know it's a crime to set prisoners free? And Mr. Krabs like, oh, damn. That's the moment where Mr. Krabs knew he fucked up. So, put them damn cuffs on him. She put the cuffs on him, said, you know what? You're going into prison now. He's like, okay, no problem. I'm finna stay here at the Krusty Krab, but that Krusty Krab prison too full. So, of course, any reasonably thinking person knows that Mr. Krabs going to the chum bucket prison. And that's where Plankton's freaking flinging chum at him. He's like, eat up, just tossing the chum at him. And I'm like, man, you know what? In a sense, this is what Mr. Krabs gets. And this is the main important lesson from this episode. Don't do anything because, the money's looking good. Always think smart, man. Always think smart. Don't be a Mr. Krabs and do anything like, oh man, money's looking good. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because you're going to regret your decisions, which Mr. Krabs obviously ended up doing. So, since we broke down this episode, man, how am I going to rate this? Like I said, I'm not good with numbers. But I'm not even going to lie. I did enjoy this episode. There's some episodes out there in SpongeBob that I didn't enjoy. And of course, they're bringing back some of the older writers and whatnot. Honestly, I have to say I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, a 7.5 or a 7 out of 10. I think that's pretty darn decent because I did enjoy what was happening in this episode. It's realistic, too, when you really think about it with the whole prison concept. Yeah, prisons are worth a lot of money. It's a big business because you always going to have people in society who are screwing up and they need to be put in prison for whatever the hell they're doing. Jails and prisons are a big thing in fucking America. And there's a lot of money in that business. And Mr. Krabs, obviously, he saw the money and he's like, yo, I need to get into this business. But long story short, one of my favorite lines, I really did enjoy this episode. I'm going to give it a 7 to 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Mr. Krabs and Plankton, you get to see another chapter in their little saga. Of course, it's never going to end, but, I think it's pretty dope how they did it. It was creative, too. Having Mr. Krabs turn the Krusty Krab into a prison. You couldn't really, they did everything over the last 20 years with Mr. Krabs and Plankton. I think this was another pretty dope story that they did with them. And they kept the episode flowing pretty darn good, too. They always had, something new to toss in there. New prisoners. Mr. Krabs obviously realizing he screwed up, and he had to reverse his mistakes, undo them, shall I say. So, I think it was a pretty decent episode. 7.5 to 7 out of 10. I'm just interested, man. What are they going to do next with Mr. Krabs and Plankton? It's definitely an ongoing saga, and I don't know. I don't think there's much more you can do with them. I'm not a writer for the series. Of course, I haven't seen every single SpongeBob episode out there. But it just feels good to get back into SpongeBob, man. I'm just gonna try to make this a weekly thing with the SpongeBob reviews, as I said on the Ramblin' Rawlins podcast. I'm gonna try to do SpongeBob Mondays and do anime Wednesdays and Fridays. So long story short, if you guys like this video, if you guys like SpongeBob, or hell, if you guys like my homie Patrick Star, smack that like button and hit that subscribe on the Ray Rollins Network channel, and join me here on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for some good anime, cartoon, or podcast. I'm doing a lot of stuff, man. Y'all know how it go down over here at the Ray Rollins Network. Hit that subscribe button, man. Do your homie a favor. With all that being said, hope you guys have a darn good day, and peace out.